Donald Trump, what's your take on the media? A new poll out this morning shows Trump supporters have a lot in common with the commander-in-chief. They hate the media, too.
Donald Trump rants and raves at the press. I'm not ranting and raving. I'm just telling you, you're dishonest people. The news is fake because so much of the news is fake. I want to see an honest press. When I started off today by saying that it's so important to the public to get an honest press. The public doesn't believe you people anymore.
He's on to something. The Washington Press needs to hear this. Nearly 9 in 10 people who responded to the poll from the University of Virginia say they are deeply suspicious and distrusting of the media. They also agree with the president. The press is the enemy of the American people. Ouch. Trump's criticism of the media isn't without merit, though. The big question many asked after the 2016 election was, how did we miss his rise to the highest office in the land? Well, Politico says it has a lot to do with where journalists work. They crunch the data on the media bubble and say the results should worry you. Tucker Doherty is a data reporter at Politico and worked on the article with Jack Schaefer. Tucker joins us tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us, where is the media? Where do we work? And why do we miss the Trump phenomenon, if you did?
So really, with the article, we were looking at two big trends that a lot of people are familiar with. One is that newspapers across the country, they're in decline. They're shedding jobs. Just in the past 8 years, they've lost about half of their jobs. But the flip side of that is that these new online publishers, BuzzFeed might be a stereotypical example, they're booming. But the big difference we found in our article is that whereas newspaper jobs are very well spread out across the country, they're in red areas, blue areas, small towns, big cities, these new online publishing jobs, they're really clustered in just a few distinct cities, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco. And these were all parts of the country where Hillary Clinton did very well and Donald Trump did not. And so in the article, we speculate in a sense that this new trend towards online media has put more and more of media workers to put their jobs in this deeply blue territory, and that's just made it harder for the media ecosystem as a whole to really get their finger on the pulse of the nation, and on the Trump phenomenon particularly.
Yeah, did you concentrate just on where the media is now located, the online media, or did you also look at things like age?
We looked at demographics, we looked at age, but really it was the geographic data that just stood out to us, because a lot of people are familiar with sort of other bubbles that the media has. There's a race bubble, there's a gender bubble, there's an age bubble. But I don't think a lot of people were aware that just so recently where the media works has changed dramatically. About 8 years ago, maybe 25% of the media worked in these really deep blue counties. But by 2016, the last year we looked at, it was more than half.
Mm-hmm. Really interesting stuff. I'd also be curious as to know what's going on in those red state areas in terms of people being on social media. Also, the age factor. If you look at the Democratic side, the younger people doing a lot of social media, they were with Bernie Sanders, to a great extent. Tell me about some other factors, though. This is incredible stuff about what you found. This, you say, leads to us missing the point of the people that were staunchly behind Trump, the distrust of the media. We just didn't get out there and do our jobs like we used to do.
Well, I think a lot of reporters did fly out to these areas and try to talk to these voters, and they did the best job they could. But journalism in a lot of ways is very autobiographical. You know your neighbors, you know things that are in your life, and so when you're sort of from these couple narrow clusters of the country, that's what you're familiar with. And sort of flying out to some red state and spending a week there, it isn't really a substitute for the kind of reporter who used to work there and live there year round. Oh,
you're absolutely right, because you fly in, you get a couple of details, a couple of notes. You may have even written the story before you got there based on the people that you've talked to, that sort of thing. So what do we do about it? Okay, you're in the business, I'm in the business. What do we do to fix that?
So I think in one sense we were a little pessimistic. We were trying to think of ending the story with a big fix. But because, as we talk about in the article, it's driven by these big economic and technological trends, it's hard to fix intentionally because it wasn't an intentional decision to begin with. But I would say that it was, reporters were so shocked by the results in a lot of cases. It's not something people wanted to get wrong, and I think it's a learning process. I think in future elections, we'll probably see a lot more attention and attempt to fix these sort of problems.
Tucker, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Good conversation. Still coming off script.